Hello guys, it's the sixth tutorial in this course. In this tutorial we are going to talk about lists and tuples, and a list in Python is a hybrid data type, and what we mean by that is that list can contain items of different data types, right? So a list can have a string in it, a character in it, a number, a whole number, a fractional number, a complex number, right? So if you have different values belonging to different data types and you want to put all of them together, then you have to create a list. And a list in Python is similar to an array in C or C++. But the difference is that whereas in C or C++, if you have an array, then all the elements of the array have to be of the same data type. So if you are working with an array of characters, then all elements have to be characters. If you're working with an array of numbers, then all elements have to be numbers. Whereas in list, as I said, it's a hybrid data type, so you can have different kinds of values in it. Right, so the way we create a list in Python is by using square brackets. So I'll just create one and I'll call my list list, and I'll use the assignment operator or the equal to symbol to create the list, and then I'll get in a pair of square brackets, and then within the square brackets I'll specify the elements. So let's say I want to have a word, and of course if you're using single character values, then you have to use single quotes, and you have to use quotes with the strings as well. And I'll have another element, I'll call this one 2, and then I'll have another element, I'll call this one 3. So 3 string values, and then maybe I'll have some numbers too, so whole number 4, and then another number, but this time a fractional number 5.0, and then let's also throw in a complex number, so 6 plus 2j. Right, and I'll press the enter key and my list is created. To see the content of this list, I can use the print function, and I can also just type in the name of the list, which is my list. So when I do that, I see all the elements of the list, and as I said, we can also use the print function. So within parentheses, I'll just type in the name of the list, my list, and when I press the enter key, again I see the elements. Right, so what if you just want to see the first element in the list, and the way the indices are assigned to the several elements in the list, that is the same as it is with strings. So the first element gets the index 0, the second one gets the index 1, and so on and so forth. So if you just want to see the first element, you type in the name of the list within square brackets, the index position, which is 0, and there you go, you see the first element is 1. And if you want to see all the elements in the list starting from the second element, so the index position of that is 1, and then you put a colon, and since we want to see all the elements till the end, we don't have to specify the number of elements, and I simply press the enter key. So there you go, we see 2, 3, 4, 5.0 and 6 plus 2j, and not the first element, which is 1, right? And if you want to repeat the contents of your list several times, let's say if I want to repeat the contents of the list thrice and display on screen, I'll type in my list and then the asterisk symbol and then the number of times I want to repeat the contents. So if I want to repeat by 3, I'll type in 3, press the enter key, and there you go, I get a new list in which all the elements are repeated thrice. So you get the list elements once and then again and then again. Right, now let's create another list, and I'll call this one new list, and I'll use the assignment operator in square brackets, and I'll give it value 7 comma the word 8, and then I'll give it the value 9.0. right, and if suppose I want to create a list that has the values from both the lists my list and new list, then I'll have to use the addition symbol or the operator that we used to concatenate string values in the last tutorial. Right, so if I just want to display the result on screen, I'll type in my list, then the addition symbol, and then the name of the second list, new list, and there you go, I get a new list in which I have the elements from the first list, my list, and then elements from the second list. Right, and another important thing that you need to know about lists now is that you can update lists. So let's say in the second list, new list, I want to update the first element, which is 7, to the word 7 instead of the number 7, right? So I can do that. All I have to do is type in the name of my list within square brackets, the index position of the element that you want to update. So I want to update the first element, so the index position of that is 0, the assignment operator, and then the new value. So I want to give it the value 7, And now if I see the contents of the new list, I see the word 7 instead of the number 7, right? So this is possible with lists. And now let's talk a little about tuples. And tuples are also sequence data types and are similar to lists, but have two important points of difference in comparison with lists. And the first one is a syntactical difference, and that is that tuples are created using parentheses and not square brackets. And the second one is that tuples cannot be updated. So let me just create a tuple and show you guys how it works. So I'll call it my tuple, and I'll use the assignment operator, and as I said, we'll have to use parentheses and not square brackets. So I'll get in a pair, and then I'll have some values in it, like a word, which is a string, and then another string, but I'll call this a number, and then I'll finally have a number. And when I press the enter key, the tuple is created. I can see the values in it, and if you see that when I display the contents of a tuple, the elements are enclosed within parentheses, whereas when you display the contents of a list, the elements are enclosed within square brackets. So that way you can know what is a tuple and what is a list. And you can obviously use the print function to display the contents, and I'm not going to show you guys that. And if you want to see the first element in your tuple, then obviously you have to use square brackets, type in the index position of it, which will be 0. Same labeling rules work here. The first element gets index 0, second one gets 1, and so on and so forth. And if you want to see the contents second element onwards, again, then square brackets, type in the index position of the second element, and then a colon, press the enter key, you just get a number in 10. The first element is not displayed. If you want to repeat contents, same thing, put in the asterisk symbol number of times. So if you want to repeat by 4, there you go, you get a new tuple with the values repeated 4 times. And lastly, if you try to update the contents of a tuple, so if I try to change the value of the first element or the second element, let's say, from a number to an actual number, so the index of the second element will be 1. I'll use the assignment operator, and this is what we did in the case of list like a couple of minutes ago. If I try to store the value 55 in it, I'll get a trace back, and it tells me that tuple object does not support item assignment, right? So that's an error, and that means that tuples cannot be updated. So that's it for now. Thank you so much for watching this tutorial.